Okay, welcome to the man cave. We got another day. And same old dog. Let's go see what's going on inside. Okay, so we're working on the 690. Got some new farkles to put on. So we're in the midst of changes, getting ready for Baja. And so today I want to talk about our luggage. So over here we've got let me just put this right on the bike, okay? Actually, I can put it over here. That way we can get the bike in too. That should do it, don't you think? I think so. Alright, so we got another tank bag. Just a newer design that Wolfman produces. I got all these parts from Revzilla. So this is the M303 Enduro Wolfman Enduro bag. And it's supposed to be have better tie downs than the previous version, which was always an issue. I have to see what goes on that. Put that there. We've got this tank bag. Now this is different than my, hold on. Oh, here we go. These are my E12 tank bags that I had on the bike. They're really good, they're very light, and but I figured I needed something a little bit better for adventure touring. So I got these next size larger, and they're called, I don't know, what are they called? The Enduro Dry Saddle Bags from Wolfman. So these are slightly bigger in capacity than the E12s, and the added benefit, which we'll see once I open these things up, I assume they're going to be in here. There's this interesting little rolly things that if I open them up, well, there's supposed to be a liner in here. I don't see a liner, but they're supposed to be really big. So I'll have to check and see what happens. Why I don't have liners. So I can carry those in with me to let me check the other side, see if they're otherwise I guess I'll have to call them up. Oh, here we go. So on this side there's some liners. Okay. And the advantage of this is that once you stick the liners on the inside, it's interesting how they got these stamped together. You can then take this into the motel room, right? Just take them out of your bags. You're not leaving any of your personal possessions inside the bag. All right, so I'm happy that those are all there. I'll stuff those in for right now. And then the other thing we've got is, can you see me from way over there? Here's a Wolfman universal tie bag. You see that number. And that's to help tie this thing down, which is the okay, so this is the ultralight duffel, again from Wolfman. And this is going to go, when we get all done with this stuff, it's going to go over the top, and I'm going to carry all my personal belongings, underwear, and things like this, or maybe I'll leave this in with my truck, or in the truck that's going with this down to Baja. So in this, I kind of feel like there's a liner in there. A lot of snaps. I hope I can figure out how to put it all back together again. But this is one of those like a rollies, where you kind of roll it up, keep the weather out. And inside that, again, is another yellow liner. So my belongings will go in this. So I'll just have to, I don't have to undo the saddlebags or the rolly from the bike. I can just take this thing off. And inside here, it looks like there actually is some tie downs. I guess we'll figure that out as we go. Then one last accessory is in here from Revzilla. Let me take my thought I had a knife of some sort. So I'll just take the screwdriver. How do you get into this thing? Alright, so what this is the Wolfman large pocket kit. So, see if there's anything else. Nope, nothing in the box. Just a bunch of balloons. And the large pocket kit is basically something that we can there's a left and right and a little side things, and you can add to your tank bag if you want a little bit more storage on it, which might come in handy for several reasons that I'm hoping I can solve some other issues. Anyway, so I've got these, and so let's start by throwing the tank bag on there. So the thing I discovered before is that these tank bags, if you can see that okay, are designed to go over the seat. Actually, I think this is reversed. Yeah, there we go. I really like these things. And they fit right over the fairing here, so they're not really touching the muffler. Now, Ron has this size. I had the smaller size. Where'd they go? We're burying the Corvette now in Wolfman bags. But I'm going to put these over here just so you can get a feel of these ones on that bike. But unlike where it goes over the top of the seat, you know, where you'd have to sit on it, what I discovered was that on the 690, you can do this all underneath the seat. So the way we're going to, let's put this over here for now. stay. Not you, Deacon. The seat. So the idea is, I'm gonna assemble these so it's going to be right here. This is the way I did it before, and the straps will actually go underneath the seat. So I'm going to start playing with these things, and we'll see how it ends up looking. I'll try to position my camera so that you guys can see this stuff. One thing that's important, they got to make sure you're not in the way of the latch. And I want to find me a rag. While we're in here, no reason I can't sit there and clean this stuff off, right? But we don't want to mess up the mechanism for that. And I can't remember if I had it on the top or the bottom, but I do recall that you see these little hooky dookie things here. Those are going to go on each side of the seat. So if I just position this like that, and then I put the seat in, and then I push this guy down, right? There we go, we're snapped into place. Okay, now the straps are actually under the seat. You can't do that with the other Enduros because the seat, in order to take the seats off the Enduros, right, both the 500 on the 300, there's a little screw on the bottom. So you got to take those things off and maybe mount them that way. But both these bikes I don't plan to do on super long trips. But this one might be handy. Although Todd has expressed an interest in buying the E12s from me for his DRZ 400. But he may end up getting a 690. You know, if he buys a 690, I'll give you my E12, Todd. All right, so let's put this over here. Let's see. So the next step is, generally on these guys, you take these two little hooks, and they're supposed to go and grab on the back of the fender. So because I have all this rest of stuff, let's go ahead and take off all my Rotex gear. Oh dear. I'm sorry, my arthritis is not conducive to me. I see. I got to loosen this up first. That'll make the easier part. All right, I'm a wimp. See, look how easy that is. Wow. All right. Sorry guys, I'm complaining for nothing. All right, so we've got our two gas cans. I'll put those over here next to Deacon. And we'll take these and we'll try to figure out where we're supposed to put these. Normally this goes underneath the rack. So maybe I should have done that before I put the seat on. So let's do that. Take these back off again. There we go. Lean that up against the bed. Bring those underneath the rack. Then back down. And as you can tell, I'm a fan of Nikola's out of Slovakia. His rack, and he's sending me a new one, by the way. So this is coming back off again, and we're going to put it back on with the new ones. But in the meantime, so let me do a couple adjustments. It looks like, you see the way this is? I want this looped to be right under this rack, and that under there, and I got a little bit of slop. I'm having to say this. I kind of like exactly the way this is sitting, the way it is. So Why would I want to muck with it? I don't know. So anyway, these little clips are supposed to go onto the fender, and then you like right here, and then you tighten it up. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe because I have the rack, that we ought to just clip it onto the rack here. Huh. I mean, that's what I did before. Let's put the camera here and take a peek at, see what I'm kind of trying to do here, all right? If I want to keep the saddlebags independent of the rack, then the saddlebag should not be tied into the rack. So in order to pull that off, I'm going to have to expand this out, get it under the rack, so that it grabs onto these little clips, grabs onto the fender. Now in the past I've grabbed it onto here, and I think it's because I had the let me think about this. I had it on here. So in order to get it past the little, you see the little rubber bumpers right there, little rubber baby buggy bumpers? That's just resting on the fender. If I lifted that up, then this strap could go down underneath here. That would actually prevent anybody from trying to steal it, because the straps. But it looks like I could do that. We're going to take some time playing with this thing, so if you don't mind me thinking this through, I'm kind of brainstorming with you guys, and I really appreciate your patience. But I'm kind of wondering if I should tie it into here, right where you've got, this is a little bit more of an angle that when you're putting the stress on it, it's going to keep from falling down. There's nothing really going to tie it here unless I go around the existing rack. And there's plenty of extra strap here, so why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I do it just this way to make it easier? It would give me an extra tie down to hold something on down here. The thing is, there's so much, this saddlebag set is so versatile that I'm thinking that, why not? Let's just support the whole fender by going down here. Let me loosen it up some. Okay, hold on. I have a plan now, I think. And by the way, as this I'm working on this after having 2 giant glasses of plum wine in my favorite Vietnamese restaurant. So my head isn't quite as clear as it would be otherwise, but I do think that having played with the E12, that, let's see, let's give a little bit more slack here. Because my goal here now is I'm going to do these 2 hooks on the bottom of the fender. Okay. Put that back down that way. Let's see if I gave myself enough room now. Oops. Maybe not. Okay, see, I want that hook to go there. Over here. I want this hook to go down there. Okay. Then I scooch this whole thing this way. So that's underneath the rack there. And it gets a really good combination. You get this P-Run Moto rack. I really advise you doing this thing. This is like the lightest, strongest rack for the KTM 690 that you could possibly get, with the most amount of hooks and attachment points that you can get. And you're not seeing, if you look at my other racks, you'll see that this rack actually is only this wide going off both sides. And I'll do another video when I swap them out and update it from a year ago. So let me put this here again. I've got this GoPro on a tripod, so sometimes it falls off. But oh, I can loosen this up. That'll help. There you go. All right, so right now, you see there's this little clip here, and I've got it now tied onto the fender, going around the rack, around this part of the fender. It leaves this attachment points available. So I've got 2 attachment points if I need it. And going over here, this length here seems to be the same as that length there. This strap is going across just underneath this back attachment point. See that? Leaves this available. And then when I go to put the seat on, which is holding down this part, and by the way, see that little Velcro? That's actually 3M stuff. That's where I keep my registration stuff. That reminds me, I need to buy the new, there's one of these KTM racing pads that has a window in it that you can keep your registration information on it, especially if you're going down to Mexico. Makes it much easier. That's all. When I go back into the house, I'll order one more thing for this guy. So with this the way it is, let's put the seat on it. It just fits in like that. Oops. So, isn't that cool? It's all out of the way. It's being held down. You can get this attachment point, you get this attachment point, and we can tighten that up if we want to make it tighter so it doesn't fall down as far. And the nice thing about is, if we do this right, we won't be touching the muffler. So you can't really loosen this anymore. So whatever the guys are doing at Wolfman, you know, I think I can get rid of a ½ an inch on each side of that. So let's do that. So it's pretty much set up to be the right length as what we wanted it to be. So, okay, I can still pull the seat off. That's really good. So here, I want to take up a ½ an inch on either side. By the way, anything I do with my motorcycle is not done on any recommendation by Wolfman. These decisions are all on my own. It's got nothing to do with the company's advice or anything. They're just providing a really good product, and I'm taking them and I'm adapting them to my motorcycle the way it is. There's no warranty expressed or implied. For the local company, I want to maintain really good friends with them, and they may not like what I do with my Wolfman saddlebags or any other bags that I happen to buy for Wolfman. So if So do everything that I'm doing at your own risk. I think this needs to go in a little bit more. Alright, so that's pretty tight. The idea was to make this part as tight as possible. I hope that's all showing up. You know, in my previous video, I was trying to do the provide power to my phone, and so I'm waiting for those parts to come in. And so the seat's going to come off several times. Or you can still see that the strap is not in the way of the latch. So that's really, really cool. I don't know what the other brands are out there that do this, but for me, this seems to be the best way to go. There you go. Alright, so now this is really tight on there. That's really tight on there, and I like that. Alright, so the next step, of course, is to keep these guys from flopping around, they need to get tied to something. And just so happens to be, I've got this other part which comes from the from Nicola also. So when you buy this rack up here, you can buy these things here, and this just goes down to hold that in place instead of tying it onto your buddy pegs. Now, normally I would say the buddy pegs are a good thing to have, especially if your buddy has a tendency to fall down and hurt himself, and you need to give him a ride back out. But since I got Deacon, there's not really much room I'm going to be able to have to help, at least on this Baja ride. There's going to be lots of BMW 1200 GSs and KTM 1190s and that sort of stuff that can go 2 up. So I'm just going to pretend that we're not going to have a buddy. But if I was riding with Ron and he got hurt, I would definitely give him a ride. So, you get that, Ron? All right. So our seat is totally clear. So the next step is tying this down to here. Let's see what they've got. Oh, remember I said that someplace inside this bag, where was that? No, nothing in there. Oh, maybe it was in the other bag. Okay, that. All right, so this doesn't come in with anything extra other than what we got. So, I can pack a lot of crap in here. Now, let me explain. You might say, why don't you get those giant big aluminum things? Yeah, there's nothing in there. So we got the 2 yellow bags. One goes on each side. But anyway, you see all those aluminum panniers, the big boxes, and Ron had those on his, I think it was a KLR, and he said every time a truck went by him or he tried to pass a truck, the wind would just catch those things, just move them all over the place. As soon as you went to the soft bags, you didn't have that problem anymore. So I think you ought to stay with the soft bags. Plus, if you fall over, there's not much that's going to get damaged. And you don't need all these Tortec racks that go everywhere, and you got stuff hanging out the side. So you actually can, make yourself feel like you're actually on a dirt bike. All right, let's go over here. I like dirt bikes. Actually, I haven't been quite totally indoctrinated onto this whole adventure touring stuff, but I'm doing it out of love for my friends. So it looks like I have to loosen this up, take this off all the way, go down through here, and back up. Is there enough room? I think we might find enough, just barely enough. Yay, finally. Okay. Okay. So that looks pretty good. You can see it's not touching the muffler. I think if I fill the bag up, right, this is all going to pull out away from it. And this part is on the shield, so we'll see what happens. Now Ron says on his bag he's never had a problem with touching this. And so I kind of like it. I think after I get the new rack, I may move this part underneath here when I'm putting it on. Although right now it's kind of, how would I say, on top of the rack, so I wouldn't have to disassemble anything to remove it. All right, so the other side is going to be the same as this side, but it's windy. And how am I going to get over here? Let's see if I can move some bikes around. All right, that should do it. I think I can get around there. Okay, so, Deacon, I don't have my Yamaha stool. Let's grab that. There we go. Okay, guys. So the goal here is, again, is to get this strap over there. Let's just put this in my knees and we'll see how that works. I think they gave you more room on this side. They did. Wow. What's the deal here? This is pretty straightforward on this side. Maybe I just got shortchanged. I'm pretty sure the quality control is such that they would be the same on both sides, but look at the amount of length I've got. And compared to this other side. So why would that be? Why would they? I don't know. It just needs at least 2 more inches on this side, guys. So that's my review. Again, so now this is by having this here, by the way, it keeps the saddlebags from bouncing around, and it's better than when I had the buddy pegs on. They would come out to about like here, and I would tie this to the frame, but there was still not enough of a angle, I guess, to keep it from flopping. This does a really good job. So again, there's a nice place for it. Let's stand up on this. Okay, so let's take out my little rolly bag, or whatever it's called, the liners, 1 for each. And I guess you kind of just roll these things up like this. And one goes in one side. And the other one will go on the other side. I'm not too sure how this is supposed to be. You know, you think there'd be some sort of Velcro or something, but because when you roll these things up, something should snap, keep these together. So I don't know. I'll ask Ron how he does it. Ask him to give me a little video to add to tack on to my videos. So we'll tack that into there, as I just did. And then the goal here then is you roll these things up like that. And attach it here. This part goes over the top, attaches there. This part goes over the top, attaches there. And then on the back side, this part goes down like that. That keeps it from flopping around in the wild. So you can tighten all these things up, keep it nice and smug away. Roll this up, all nice and weatherproof. Tie that on, bring this over the top, tie that on there, bring this over, tie that on there. We'll have to see how it does once we actually get it all loaded up. And then bring this down, keeps that from flopping around. Okay, so all right, so that's the so it'll stays away from it, so we'll keep an eye on it. Again, I think this strap might be better suited to go underneath the rack, so we'll do that once we get the change. All right, so that's the Enduro Light bags, and the nice thing about it is when I go to sit on it, right, they're really not in the way. I can go all the way back here, and these guys aren't really in the way. And my dog can sit up here. Once I get the tank bag on it, we'll both be very comfortable, and yet we'll be providing for all of our needs. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and put these tanks back on. Can you see me from way over there? There you go. This goes here like that. And by the way, you know, because there is an issue with the inserts that the rack is mounted onto, the tank is actually the fender, that the plan is that as soon as I go 50 miles, or maybe 60 miles, whatever, that's going to suck up a gallon worth of gas, I'm going to dump out the gas immediately so there's less weight on the back, and so that we don't increase the amount of stress on the rear fender. So as soon as you can, get rid of your backup gas. That, of course, that's a little inconvenient, because what happens then is the next time you fill up, you'll have to be filling this gas can up as well as the as well as your tank. So then we tighten this down. Put this on here. Okay, so that part's good to go. What do you think? Starting to look more like an adventure bike now. So we got saddlebags. All right, next thing is we got to do the tank bag. Now the tank bag's new, and because of the slope, this is the front, that's the back. So let's take a peek at it. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Okay, before we do this, so I'm going to, it's nice and warm out. I'm going to move some bikes out. So, hold on guys. I want to take advantage of getting some vitamin D. Poor Corvette. We need to do some autocrossing so it takes more priority. And we got to start getting rid of some trash. There we go. Okay, let's make some room here. This next step, I want to get some bikes out. I think the 500 could stay. We're going to do a separate video, by the way, on the tools we're going to take and my gear, so stay tuned for that. I have a question. Are motorcycles male or female? The reason I ask that is the motociclette. I think it's motociclette. I think in Spanish, motorcycles are female. Before I do that, though, I need to clear some room. I got so much crap that's coming in. So, from all this stuff, and let's just. That's the problem when you buy a bunch of stuff. You end up with cardboard boxes, and little balloons, and popcorn, and things, and here we go. So be responsible. In our town, I mean, this may seem mundane to a lot of you guys in the U.S., but maybe in Europe. But in our town here, just to let you know, United States, Colorado, we have a can for recycling, single stream recycling. This stuff, that's considered trash because it's got bubbles. So we have a trash by itself, and then we have compostables for our vegetables. And this was my canine earmuffs. I'll keep that. And even this popcorn, by the way, this is this new style that once it gets wet, it's like it's made of wheat or something. I don't know. But that can go in the compostables because it dissolves in water. Much better than that styrofoam crap. I hate it. I hate styrofoam. So got a little bit more room. So what's our next step? Oh, we're doing this thing. Now we got to figure out how we're going to mount, see if the tank bag is easier to mount than the last one. So I've got okay, so you see it's got these little snaps and little hooks. So here's how it's supposed to work. Let's pop the seat off again. Well, I don't think I need to. I'll just use the straps from the previous one and transfer the old straps to the new one. So let's take this off. So you see, this is in essence what you're doing. You would just take this strap that they give you. You would take this fastener off the end. You'd go around the tank, put this through that, the frame member, and you'd tie that to the frame member, and then you would put this fastener back on, and then that's what gets fastened back onto the bottom of the tank bag. That way you can take this thing off easy enough when you're traveling down the road. So you see it's got lots of excess, and in my case the tank is, or the strap, I don't know if you can see it under there. Let me bring it up to the top. But anyway, so that's a pretty straightforward way to do it. I'm pretty sure that if you go to Wolfman, they've got some suggestions on how you're supposed to do that. So all right, so on this side, we're strapping it down. Okay, and here's the power outlet for the my charger, my USB charger, but the one I bought didn't work, so I'll just put this. I got another one, should show up anytime today, and I'll go ahead and put, you can see that, I'll go ahead and put the this little cap on to keep the dirt out. Anyway, so that'll just be there in case I ever need to charge anything, and it'll go underneath that strap. Excellent. All right, now got the front straps, and I'm hoping this is easier than it used to be. Trying to figure it out here, and let me take a. So it's got a snap on both sides. My old tank bag. Let me grab my old tank bag. They made some improvements. And this is going to go on the front. It used to be there was only one strap, and you had this fastener. You went around from there, and you wrapped it around your fork. So let's assume that that part is still the same. So if I'm by myself without the dog, this is a pretty good setup for that. But with Deacon, they have given us, let me see if I can figure all this stuff out. It looks like we can actually, it'll stay around the head with this little strap, and the straps will still be around. So I'm digging it. So let me figure out what's going on. So take this off here. Take that one off there. So the idea is we're going to wrap this around the headstock, and once you pull the strap on, it'll just going to be staying there waiting for me to put it on and off. All right then. So I guess in order, I'm going to have to get this lease off one half. So one of these are going to come off because I don't think I can fit it through there. I don't think they left me enough elastic. Well, maybe they did. Hold on. Yay! Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Eric, for a really great design again. I'm going to take this, I'm going to go underneath the frame, reach around the other side, So go through there. And you'll see on the KTM, there's a little fork stop right there. You want to get that above. You want to get that above the fork stop. All right. So let's take the other side. So I got both of them. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and snap this part in, just to keep from flopping around. All right. Get that loose. And then I've got this part. Let's go to the other side. Again. And you want to be underneath that, the fork stop. Here's that part. So this wire is from our experiment with the phone charger. So here's this. Where'd you go? Oh, it fell down. All right, again, get this thing underneath here. Let's push it through the elastic. I don't think any of this stuff is by accident. I think he's evolving as people are talking to him about it. Then this gets attached there, and I like the idea if you ran the elastic through the little side thing. That'll keep the end from flopping around. That would also be a good benefit. Alright, so that goes over there. And again, let's put that, tuck that into there, go around. I mean, I hope I'm doing this right. I mean, I don't. And I can put this part, that little cross strap, put that on the other side of the ignition. I think I don't want it over here because that part moves. But again, maybe I don't want it on the other side of. Because in my case, I have this Scott steering damper. The idea, though, is the strap is that when you take the latches off, it doesn't fall down. So I guess it doesn't matter where it's at. So let's tighten that down. Over here, tighten that down. This is to keep you from beating up your frame. The little flap thing there. You know, I guess, and also I can loosen one up and have all this extra strap available for some other purpose. There you go. Now the biggest problem with any of these things, of course, is that I got to reach in here and I got to pull this back to turn on the ignition switch. See? But that hasn't really been a big deal. I think I like it the way that is. Now, what do I do with the strap? I think what I'll do, though, is I'm going to loosen this part up. Because I've got more than enough room. In this case, they gave us an abundance. But I don't want it flapping around the wind too much. Yeah, I think that's enough. Say about 6 inches. Then I'll come over here, take the excess, strap that down, and then I'll go ahead and I'll just cut this the excess off, unless there's some reason. I don't know what to do with this. So I have 2 feet. I wish I could have it for over here. And I got excess here, which is always a good thing. All right. Okay, well, I think what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and cut this off 6 inches, and then I'll need to, because it's nylon, I'll have to melt the end of it to keep it from unraveling. Okay, so the new tank bag is on. Now the nice thing about this tank bag, it does have, you can remove this whole map thing. You can lift it off from here, go up that way, you've got some extra tie downs. Plus it's got the little rain pocket for it. If there's anything inside of here that a little surprise they might have tossed in there. No, just a decal. Then there is another pocket section up here that you could put some personal stuff you don't want flopping around, like a wallet or credit cards, moolah. There's a hooky dookie here that you could tie to, say, to a camera or something you don't want to fall out of the bag. It's all these things I haven't quite figured out yet, and I'm sure, but somebody had said, gee, I wish you would have had this and I wouldn't have lost a $400 camera or whatever, and that's why they put it in there. I mean, Eric rides, he knows this stuff. So anyway, Deacon's going to rest right on top of here, and the one thing about the smaller one, I don't think it's really big enough for a map. Let's grab a map. Okay, here's where we're going to be riding, North Baja. But as you can see, it's like 1 inch is too short. So I'm thinking if it'd be nice if this backside this is just an idea. You see how it's got the side pocket here so you can open up to slide stuff in. If this was left sewn on and this backside had the Velcro, then you could slide the map in this way and then pull it right out. I think that would be a much cleverer way to do it. So Eric, if you watch this, you might want to consider that. Just as something that's just a little bit longer window that I could fold up, look at the map, do that sort of thing. All right, so I think that works out pretty good. And let's put that there. Now the other thing I don't quite know what to do with. Oh, hold on. All right, now we got this. All right, so we've got this additional bag, and this is to take into. Can you see it okay without the glare? Let's put this on over here. All right, so this again was called the ultralight duffel. This you can tell I'm starting to get serious about adventure if I have me an ultralight duffel. All right, so it did come with a strap of some sort with reflective tape for nighttime, and it comes with a liner. And the advantage of the liner, of course, is that I'm going to keep this bag also, have double protection. Put that in my pocket. Thank you, Wolfman. So this got a really big waterproof liner. You can carry all sorts of stuff. Now what I plan on doing actually is putting my laptop in here, because I'm going to carry my laptop down to Baja with me in order to download my videos on the computer every night. We're going to have like 9 days of riding, and I want to get as much footage. Is that really, can you still use that under a modern day? I don't know. So another strap that was in there. So let's see if we can do what we need to do with it. So the idea is that you put your computer, whatever in there. You see, if you fold it out square, it's going to have looks like about 9 inches by 18 inches. And I guess I can just go get it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I got my computer. I got this bag. I want to carry it at least. Now I can throw it in the back of the chase truck, but I still have to drive down from San Diego, where I'll be staying with Brad Barker at his place. So say we put the computer in this rolly bag, in this little liner, and we'll assume that we've got I think I see what's supposed to happen here. This little latch here alright. Okay, so this little latch here is supposed to reach all the way over there. That's how the system is supposed to work. That gives you a carrying handle. Alright. Yeah. Same thing goes over here. I'm going to put this guy inside the bag. On top of that, it's going to have a bunch of other stuff, you know, underwear, dog food for Deacon, and we're going to fold that thing down, and it's air is having trouble escaping, which means it's going to be pretty good seal. And then because of this little latch, I just discovered, I think, how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to take, oh no, it's not that way. Oh no, I see. This guy, there's, on the bottom pulls down like that. That's where this guy comes in. Woohoo! Alright, I figured it out. I'm not so stupid after all. Alright. So now it's like that. And the next step, this part, goes over the top like that. So whatever I've got in here, including my computer, now fits in there. The next step is, how do you attach it to your rack? Now, the way I understand, you'll see this Rotax is kind of blocking these little areas here, but I can still fit some of that canvas through there. So let's take a look. Now, Nicola has made this part thicker, I believe it is, and then he also, on this rack, he has taken these and folded them down just a little bit, which we could also do by ourselves, by the way, with a judicious use of a small vise, just to create a little bit bigger opening. So I would say you take these two straps here, we go over the top, and we're going to go end up someplace, maybe these areas here. Or I could connect it onto the fender. Either way. But what Nicola suggests, though, that if you got a lot of weight here, run a strap all the way underneath there. So we'll need to figure that out too. So what did they give me here? I think what this simply is, so they give you that. You go, yep, that's what that's all about. So, there you go. Alright, so that's just for carrying it in back into the motel. And we don't want that to drop on me, but so now we've got these straps. Let's see what we're going to do about them. I think what we should do... Alright, this is kind of like the... what do they call that? Anyway, so what happens here, let's go ahead and push this through the... I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me go get I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Alright, so I got my universal metric wrench here. I'm going to stick this guy right in here. The only thing I'm doing, I'm just going to bend that down just a little bit. And see how that made that a little bit bigger? It's aluminum, so it's going to be easy to bend. Yeah, I dig it. And so all those should be bent down. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. But over here. So all these guys, I want to sit there and I want to bend them all just a little bit to bend them down. And I guess Nicole is doing that anyway on his new version to make it easier to attach stuff. Yeah, I think that's what he had meant. He said something like about a 45-degree angle. And the rest of this would stay the same. These are nice and accessible, so that's not a big deal. So the... let's go grab these straps. So you're given 4 straps. So we'll do the female from this side. And I guess if we want to do a cross strap, that might be better. Let's see what holes are available. And again, they gave us I'm going to go through the bottom. Go that way. through the top like this. Okay, there's one. We're going to do let me get the other female side. So these are being mounted like a lot along the same lines as the rock straps. Except the rock straps have a section of elastic. Okay, so that's pretty good. That still leaves us two others to get to it. The other side now, same thing goes. Hopefully there's going to be enough. We're going to go underneath and through the loop. And I guess he's also on the new racks. He's chamfered more of these edges to keep it from crazing a stress riser. Okay, so we'll go underneath. So when you get all done with it, the Wolfman label should be on the top, so he gets free advertising. All right, let's put my gas cans back on. Tighten that back down. Get the oil can or the water jug. All right. All right, so we'll do one other thing is that I'll see this little strap here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go underneath, or maybe I can just tie it into here. To keep this thing from bouncing around, but I'll replace the fuel, like I say, with the first 50 miles, and that'll take the weight off, and we won't have to worry about it anymore. All right, now we take the computer motel bag. The bags themselves will stay on the bike. Only the yellow bags will come out if they need to, if there's anything valuable in there. You know, if the Mexicans want the shirt off my back, that's okay. I don't care. So I don't know if this is going to be long enough. We'll find out once we actually start putting things together. But in the meantime, the way I've got this designed is this goes here. So let's see how much space we got. So that's how big we can bring this thing up and still close these straps. Another one over here. Okay, so we've got that strap being held on. And I do think that we do, maybe this would be the key. Let's see if we can use this guy to do a little bit extra insurance. If anyone takes exception with this. I always look for advice to do it right, keep me from doing it wrong. Let's loosen these up a little bit. Get this shoulder bag out of the way. You know, there's enough space in this too that I was thinking maybe I could run this part over the top, but I don't think that's going to be a good deal. Let me put this back on, going crosswise. And I'll think I'll put the excess of the strap toward the inside, so it's not going to flap around the back as much. All right, so well, we'll see what's happening. I don't know how much excess I'm really going to have. Like I say, I don't know. It's all in a big experiment. All right, so we've got that going on. Now we've got the shoulder strap. Where'd he go? Okay. All right, so here's shoulder strap. Can the shoulder strap be used to go under the bike or the fender, grab this part, and tighten it Oops, sorry. I just haven't figured out my GoPro. I never know which way I'm aiming it. So I think it's possible that the shoulder strap could be used to help tie things down. Especially if this thing started getting fatter. Right now, it's not really doing much. So, but let's go back to, I did buy another kit. Here we go. The Universal Tie-Down Straps 2-pack. So this is the same thing that came with this bag. So we can actually take it from underneath here and go over one more time and not deal with the shoulder strap idea. I think that was a bad idea. We'll relegate the shoulder strap to being a shoulder strap. How's that? Okay, we'll leave the shoulder strap as part of the bag. Now that I've got these parts, the question arises, hold on, get me another super heavy duty freezer bag from Wolfman. I'm going to keep all this stuff from blowing away. They're going to be very handy, I think. Let's pile them over here for now. Alright, so let's take this off for a moment, now that you see how easy it is to put on and off. And what Nickel is requesting that we do is tie these things, take the strap, run a strap over the top and under the fender. Wouldn't I just grab onto this? I think that's the way to do it. The idea is that you want to keep the rear rack from bouncing up and down because it's resting on these little rubber baby buggy bumpers. So I'm tying it down here already, and I'm not too sure how strong these loops are. So I can either tie this onto the fender like that and then go over the top, or just come straight from there. So let's do that. I kind of like that idea, because I think this will go all the way down through there and to the other side. Oh yeah, this is fun. I love when a part comes together. All right, so I'm going to take the female side, and I'm going to go through this loop. And again, Eric, if you think this is not strong enough, the idea is just keep the gasket from bouncing around if you hit something rough. I'm going to take this up through there, take that up through there, over the top. Let's go over here. So I just need one of these straps. Same thing on this side. I put the underneath this loop. So maybe a metal ring there might be better. Okay, so now with this, now we can we can tie these two together. So, and also Nicola, I asked Eric if he would put his 2 cents in, but also Ron and Nicola, if you also want to chime in, that's fine too. Well, doggone it. Who was this? Huh.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. You were on top of that one.
I was in my pocket. What's going on?
Well, I'm fixing to go to Alfalfa. Do you want me to grab anything there for you that you can think of offhand?
Some sort of soft flour, flexible tortilla that's non-GMO, organic.
I'll try.
To make a taco.
A large selection, but I'll look.
All right, we need a couple cucumbers and some peppers. We got black beans, we got onions, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
To make vegetarian tacos.
Alrighty.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was fun. All right, so now we've got extra reinforcements to keep this from bouncing around. We'll put this back on. Slap that on there like that. And you know, we have one other bag. I'm kind of wondering what we should do as we tied this down, but I don't want to put a lot of stress on my computer either, right? So here, let's just put this on first. What I'm thinking of is, let me put this back somewhere. There we go. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, we were tightening these down. So this crosses over to this one, is the plan. This guy crosses over here. We got this much extra on both sides as this thing grows inside to hold this thing down. We still have room to get to our gas, by the way. But I think we still need something that is keep this from shifting left and right. Okay, we still have all the stuff we needed, so let's do one more thing. Let's see if there's enough. If I wanted to add something more to the rack so it's not interfering with the can, although you still have to take this off to get to the can, so that's not a big deal. But I could, I mean, if these are, at least on the bike, you can always change your mind on the middle of the trip, right? I would say buy a couple more of these and throw them in the bag. But this guy over the top to the little sides here would work just fine. So what I'm going to do then is maybe I'm going to put with these little metal clips, I can do one of two things with this extra strap. I can tie it into the can, I could tie it into the rack and just pop and let it hang loose, and then when I'm traveling it's going to be attached to it. Going to be one more tie down, and that would be handy also because if I get too hot and my jacket, I want to put my jacket on, then I would have these extra straps to do that with. I like that idea because I plan on probably getting too hot. Oh, the dilemma of having too many things to play with. Okay. So since I bent that over, makes it real easy to get that in. So Nicola, that was a really good idea to do that. Good job, man. Okay, so this is now going to go over the top. So I've got that much space to hopefully tie the bag down. That's all right, but it looks like this came undone. So let me fix it. What's wrong, Deacon? Oh, hi there. Doing well, thank you.
Ready for spring?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to Baja next month, and with the dog, and we're gonna be put about 1,000 miles on the bike, 9 days.
Woo.
You know.
So wait, is your dog going with you on the bike, or are you going to cart that down?
No, he goes on the bike with me.
Wow.
Let me show you. Come here, Deacon. I'm just figuring out the luggage.
That's amazing. You. Hi, baby. You. You're going for a long bike ride. You can make some head Ross, you gonna ride all the way down?
Yep, Deacon, come here. Up. Whoop.
There you go.
Okay, all the way up there. Here, no,
Gotcha.
Deacon, come here.
So he's gonna ride in front?
Yep, he'll, there you go. He goes just like that. And then I go like this. And he just gloves on me the whole way.
Yeah.
And then he has his own goggles
I was gonna say.
that I put on, and I have something for his feet, little
Yeah.
stirrups that he puts his feet in
Yeah.
and everything.
Well, you're gonna make quite the conversation piece on the road.
Yeah, we're trying to figure if everything fits. Looks like we have more parts.
Luggage, huh?
Thank you.
You gotta fit a dog and luggage on there.
Yeah, this is oh, this is a USB power adapter, 12 volt to 5 volt. So I can plug in my cell phone, which will go right here. And I'm just, this is the first time he's been on since I put that on, so I hope it's not going to get in his way. Stay. I just added that back. Oh, we're a mess, aren't we? So the easier way, I guess, for me to get off and on is for me to just stand up on the pegs and then do this.
Yeah.
I'm just learning with all
Yeah,
this
you're
bags
just getting
how I'm
it
going
all
to get on
worked
and off.
out. Sure.
Yeah, we got extra fuel. There's one 200-mile leg in Baja that there's no gas stations, so I need an extra thing gas, and then an extra gallon of water for Deacon. And
You going by yourself?
no, actually, there's a part of a tour. It's going to be a bunch of guys in BMWs and things that we'll be riding with, and there's going to be a chase vehicle that'll have a medic and a mechanic and stuff. It's not that gnarly of an adventure. Most of it is highway, which I don't really like. I'm mostly a dirt bike kind of guy. Okay, so we just got this new lightning fast thing I plugged into the harness that came with my battery tender. Let's plug it in. And see, it's got this little on-off switch, is really cool, which the other battery tender doesn't have. So if you turn that off, it's not going to drain your battery, because any kind of charger is going to... okay, so right now, you will see that little part there. Okay, now I'm going to turn the switch on. Let's see if anything happens. Yep, look at there. It's that little lightning thing. That means we have power. And I'll leave that plugged in. So this is a continuation, remember, of yesterday's video. Let's now plug this guy in here like this. Put that down. Yay. All right, so right now it's at 56%. We'll just leave that on. We'll see how long it takes, if it'll charge. But this thing's working. So don't do the battery tender guy. Gets this one, the lightning fast with a little switch on it. We'll put that under the strap here. I'll run this little white cable up the side. Yay. All right, back to luggage. SAE to USB adapter, lightning fast. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll buy a second one of these, and to have it as a spare, or to put on if I decide to get a oh gosh, a GPS or something like that, or some other accessory. Yay. Okay, we're making good progress today. We've got extra tie downs. Oh, that's funny. Hear that? That's my computer. It's running out of juice. It must be left on. Funny. For today, got new skins. We got all that figured out. We got the wiring figured out. Let me go ahead and... Is this thing still going on? So I don't know. See, it's up to 61%, so it definitely is charging. So my plan is I'll just go ahead and I want to keep this switch accessible. So let's take this part off. Put that right here. See? All right, so now set that right under the seat there. And if I don't have the charger on, I can plug this into the connector. And then let's go ahead and pull this out. See if I can't fish that. There you go. There we go. Put that back in, and we're back to charging. Yay! All right, so there's lots of room